Greetings, welcome to this video. If you are new to my channel, my name is Wa, and if you are returning, thank you so much for your time. And in this video, I wanted to talk about oops, rewind. How are you? I hope you're doing well today. Me, at this moment, I'm feeling a little cold because I have been doing a lot of traveling. I haven't really been staying in Los Angeles for a while. Me and my children were spending a lot of time in Costa Rica and in the desert of California. And I will talk about that in another video. But now I'm cold, so I have my tea. I'm just trying to not burn my tongue. But I have my tea, and that's why I wrapped up my hair. And I got another sweater. So now it's time for me to hit up all my favorite discount spots for like scarves and sweaters. And if you are in the Los Angeles area and you need some tips on where to go, let me know in the description box because I will happily oblige. Um, I have a $4 store that I go to where everything's like brand new from Target. And I surely do hit them up because why go spend $20, $30 on a sweater when you can get the same one for 4 or 5? You feel me? So that is one of my favorite spots, and literally it is over here in South Central LA. Um, so I'm excited to get a couple items this week because I feel cold. It is extremely hot in the desert, and it is extremely hot in Costa Rica. Even the rainy season, right now, it's hot. Hot. Like, it's raining, and I was outside with a dress. So, you know, I feel cold right now. So I was like, okay, let me wrap up my hair. Let me put on a sweater. And that's how I'm doing today. Let me know how you're doing in the description box. I just wanted to make sure I started off properly. So in this video, I wanted to talk about, um, you know, dealing with holistic therapy and trauma. Some people, if they're like me, might be able to, resonate with just the whole concept of not really seeing the value in therapy because, um, growing up, my mom was doing therapy and she's still doing therapy. And so I was just always like, what is the significance of that shit? Like somebody be on that shit they fucking whole life, and what purpose does it fucking serve? Like literally, like those are my raw thoughts about it, and then I went through my situation. Like I mentioned in a previous video, an extremely close family member, you know, um, that I'm highly invested in, you know, was assaulted and they became unwell. And I couldn't talk about this when it first happened on the YouTube because number one, I didn't feel like it. Number two, I would have just been crying the whole video. And yeah, so that wouldn't work out. Just sitting there crying. That's not helpful. That's not teaching, And I didn't feel like I had anything to say or anything to share. I was just so fucking pissed off and disappointed and disgusted and angry, and I didn't feel like I had anything to share. And so before I get off into a tangent about my personal development, and getting back on my path of self, which is a whole nother video, I want to stick to the topic of this video, which is holistic therapy. And me being a person that seeing my mom do therapy for her whole life and really not seeing what that did for her. Because, I just wanted her to be happy. I wanted my mom to be happy and I wanted to see her enjoying her life, and I still do. Um, but I didn't see the therapy producing that for her. And I always wondered why, you know? And everything is a case by case situation, you know? My mom was traumatized as a child. And so, when people experience extreme trauma as children, it can break them down. Like, I'm talking about mental hospital stuff. And that's one of the things that has been coming to the table that I've had this experience with my family member. I've met so many, women and girls who were sexually assaulted and then they ended up in a mental hospital. And it's just sad. And I don't think people really know about that, And so, number one, this has shown me how strong my mom is because she didn't go to a mental hospital, but she's been in therapy for a large portion of her life and on, depression medication. And even though I don't agree with that, that's a whole nother story and a whole nother video. But I just want to talk about how I've seen, now that we're in this experience, how common, yeah, I have a frown because it's some bullshit, how common it is for people that have been sexually assaulted to end up in mental hospitals and on medication. So at this point, I'm proud of my mom now. At first, I was looking at her like, okay, what? But now I'm like, damn, you strong. You didn't go to the mental hospital, you know. So now I can see her strength in another way. She kept her mind together enough. But one of the reasons, just to keep it going, one of the reasons why people end up in the mental hospital after being sexually assaulted is because their brain and their mind has had a psychotic break, meaning it can no longer function as it did before. Remember how I mentioned in the other video, that my family member became unwell and incoherent, and disassociated because the trauma was so severe that it caused a psychotic break. There are cases, and this is not just with my family member. Like I said, now I'm learning about other people out in this, out in that spiritual streets out there, who um, ended up in the mental hospital after, rape and molestation in their childhood. It can alter the way that their mind and brain is functioning, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And it's just been an eye opener for me because, I always see people on the streets and I see them talking to themselves and mumbling and looking incoherent. And I would always pray for them. And I would always know that something really, really bad happened to them. But I would always think that drugs were involved. And so now I've been educated. It's sometimes it has nothing to do with drugs. My family member didn't have to do no drugs. All these women and children that I've been coming across now who have experienced this type of bullshit, they've never been on drugs, until they start taking the ones, from the mental hospital. So, uh, just the assumptions that people can have sometimes as they see people out in the world, incorrect assumptions. Like I said, I would just assume that, a lot of times that there must have been some drugs involved. And unfortunately, sadly to say, a lot of times it's not. It is just the trauma, the psychotic break. What happened to that person was so severe that it caused a mental break. Their mind, their brain is no longer functioning as its normal state because what they experienced was so severe and so painful and so traumatizing that they are no longer functioning as they were before. So that's what I've been dealing with. And that's why I was just heartbroken and disgusted and angry. And so now, let's talk about what this video is supposed to be about, which is the therapy. Um, I think that holistic therapy is very, very important. The reason why I say holistic is because I haven't really seen, so much progress with my mom with the type of therapy that she has been doing. But the holistic therapy has helped me a lot. I went from feeling like my only mission in life was to kill somebody. I swear to God. I felt like my only mission, I felt like I was breathing. I felt like I was existing. I felt like my heart was beating so that I could kill this nigga. I went from that being my daily focus and thoughts. I would go from that to just extreme grief. I went from that to feeling like empowered to seek justice in a way that is more suitable with this time and space. I'm not in the, in the reality where I can just roll up with my sword and, slice them up. I'm not in that reality. I'm in the reality of, the judicial system game. So, anyways, holistic therapy can be extremely beneficial for people that need somebody to hold space with them to get through their trauma. And I am going to include my therapist sister friends information in the description box just in case there's anybody out there in the world that ever finds themselves in need of that type of help. I have always been a very strong person. So like, me even, getting to the point to where I, comfortable and realizing that I needed to talk to somebody about this type of stuff, it was a process for me. It was a challenge for me because, I just wanted to be the person that knew everything and could handle it by myself. But it didn't work out like that. I went through the darkest parts of it by myself because I didn't have a choice. But the holistic, therapy component is a blessing because it allowed me to experience raw compassion and kindness. Uh-oh, somebody's calling me from work. Let me pause this. Okay. It's 6 o'clock in the morning here, but one of the positions that I'm working on recruiting for is on East Coast time. So I take that call. But what I was talking about was what I've learned about holistic therapy, how important it is for people who are being the caretaker for someone that has been traumatized, violated. Because the caretaker is going to need therapy too, you know? So, like I said, I'm going to put her information. I'm getting hot, but I'm gonna put her information. I should just take this off. Here we go. so I can be a little bit more balanced. I'm gonna put her information in the description box, because I think that holistic therapy is important. Um, Traditional talk therapy where people just talk about the issue, I'm not sure like how that's beneficial, or what it will lead to. In the long run, like they could be talking about that their whole life, and then, what are we doing, to heal? So I like the holistic component because my therapist, she, does hypnotherapy, and just working on this on a holistic level. Anytime that we were discussing my trauma, you know, we would always talk about the most important thing, which is the healing, like, and just keeping my mind focused on the healing and my power and my empowerment, which is really, really important. I think that traditional talk therapy is too much about focusing on being a victim, you know, and holistic. This is just my assumption based off of my experience, okay? I would say that holistic, you know, therapy is more focused on your empowerment to really truly fully heal and transcend the situation. And so I would say that it's about somebody holding space for you, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, to help guide you and give you the tools that you need to move through. So, for example, she was like working with me with, my self concept and my empowerment, and reminding me that that's what I needed to focus on. So anytime, now that I'm not doing the sessions with her, regularly, I can just remember like, oh, okay, yes, I'm having this thoughts and energy right now about this situation, and it's time for me to do my affirmations. It's time for me to focus on my healing, and what the most important thing is, what my most important reality is, and I'm choosing my words carefully because it's a process, and it's unique for everybody, but for my particular situation where the trauma affected me, because I'm taking care of this person, I love this person, um and yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to say in this video before I end it is, when people are doing therapy, whether it's holistic therapy or traditional therapy, any kind of therapy, for it to be effective, they have to know how to sit with themselves in their emotions in a healthy space by themselves. One of the reasons why people start doing therapy is because these emotions and this energy is hard for them to deal with. It's overwhelming. And so being able to sit with themselves in their emotions in a healthy way is with that extra component that they got, the support that they got from the therapist, which is like, hey, you know, you can be empowered, you can transcend this. So sitting in the space with that support by self, holding space for self, and then starting to transcend that energy as it comes back through those thoughts, feelings, emotions, and saying, and affirming what needs to be affirmed. What is your objective? Because of course no one's objective is to sit and and be depressed for their whole life or be upset about something for their whole life. So then you just allow yourselves to have those feelings and emotions and then start to go through the affirmations and the objectives, So like for example, um mine was just for my family member to be completely healed. So then, you know, I would have this extreme grief and anger about this person, and I allowed myself to have those feelings because they're valid. And then I would say, okay, now let me do what, the beautiful therapist sister said and focus on my revisioning and my affirmations. And, you know, those terms might be new to you or to, someone watching this video who's not familiar. And they when it was new to me, I was like, what is she talking about? But now it's like I am familiar with it. And I'll just say that you're basically just putting your focus and your energy on the life you want to live, the reality, what you want to see. Because a lot of times people are spending their energy focused on what happened, and it's natural. It's okay. You got to hold space for yourself and feel those feelings, but then you got to pull out of it and focus on where you trying to go, which is obviously not back to the past. So that's what I've gotten, from holistic therapy. And I would say that it's very beneficial, to learn how to hold space for self, but sometimes people can only be reminded on how to hold space for themselves, um, through someone else holding space for them. What am I saying when I'm saying holding space? It's like, allowing somebody to experience and talk about their emotions in a raw state without any judgment, like when I said I felt like killing somebody, and that uncle, he was like, that's a crime, complete shutdown. That wouldn't have been a therapeutic conversation for me, so I ended it. But with my therapist, I was able to say, I want to go kill him right now. And she was like, that's valid. I understand, mommy. I understand why you would feel that way. And, it's okay. That's holding space for somebody. It's called listening and supporting, and not giving a negative opinion, because don't nobody want to hear that shit. Or even not a negative opinion, but sometimes not even saying anything that the person could take as non-supportive. It's important. Because like I said, as soon as he was like, that's a crime, I was like, didn't nobody ask you about that? I'm talking about crime. Are you paying attention? But we already went into that in that other video. So now I'm going to go there again in depth, depth. But yeah, it's beneficial, holding space for self. And I think that people get really comfortable and codependent with therapy. I think it's really important to be able to remember what the therapist said to do and to implement those tools. Like if I wasn't following what she said, and every time I felt those feelings, and I just stay in that state, and I didn't listen to my affirmations or do my affirmations and start to think about what I wanted to create, then I would have just still been, in that same mindset, focusing on the trauma only. So I wanted to say that. Yeah, this is my personality type. I don't like to be codependent on people, and I think it's important for people to to be able to, hold space for themselves at times, so that they're not always, burdening their therapist or their loved one or whoever, but being balanced and being able to, take what they have learned and apply it. So I wanted to say that because it's something that I was talking to her about yesterday, and I was like, I want to share that. I want to share the importance of holistic therapy, and I want to share what I've gotten from it and what it's done for me. So that's what this video was going to be about. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I did get interrupted by my job, but excuse me. Working a commission job, I have to make myself available when the people are available. So that person called me at 6 o'clock in the morning. Pause. I opened up my system and got my stuff together and did what I needed to do so that I can keep it flowing. That kind of got me out of sync with what I was saying, but I do know that that's what I wanted to discuss in this video. It was, just basically how important it is to find a holistic therapist to help with implementing tools you might even already know. I already knew about affirmations, but the way that she told me to use the affirmations was different than the way that I had been doing it before. And it came along with a whole system, a whole manifestation system. And it wasn't completely foreign to me because I had done a bomb ass manifestation workshop before with this other sister. And so this stuff was not, foreign to me all the way because I haven't done the manifestation workshop. I'm still happy. I haven't done the manifestation workshop with the other sister. I was aware. I was aware of I was aware of, why affirmations are important and how they work. And, just in case you don't know, there's a couple of components. There's the way that the body fluid and the vibration energy sphere of the body and the energy of the brain is affected by what people say and think. So basically, saying the mantras and doing saying the mantras, that's what I was doing in the other story. But saying the affirmations is just reprogramming the mind and the way that the person I mean, instead of, so think about it like this: the person, when they're depressed, they're thinking about over and over and over what has upset them, what has depressed them. So thinking about the affirmations over and over and over, it's elevating. It's an elevating experience. We also listen to them, and it's a whole thing, but it's simple and it's beautiful. It's not complicated, you know. And if you've already been on this self-awareness journey, it's not going to be totally foreign, I mean, we're in the internet age now, so everybody know about affirmations and meditation, okay? But to understand it on a scientific level, that's where the holistic therapy comes in. To understand how it can be really beneficial to immediately transcend circumstances and the power that you have to create your own reality, that's where the holistic, therapy comes in as a component. And when I say therapy, I'm just saying because, when people have trauma, a lot of times they need to get, that assistance. But ultimately, it's not like therapy, like, like you have somebody has a issue. It really, really is just, you know, spiritual coaching, mindset coaching, you know, Um, because when people work on their mind, they're healing themselves spiritually and mentally. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. I'm very grateful for all of the sessions that I have had to help me get back in a space of empowerment and focusing on what I can do instead of what happened that was, traumatizing. And yeah, so I would recommend, anybody out there in those spiritual streets who isn't interested in communicating with a regular therapist, because they don't have an interest in that type of stuff. Because I know I didn't. I was like, whatever. This is so cute. This is my crystal water bottle. It has rose quartz in there. Why did I only get this for $30? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Because originally, I had seen one of these in Costa Rica, for like $100, and I was like, I'm not paying $100 for that. I'm going on Amazon. Watch me find it for cheaper. How about I didn't even have to go on Amazon? I was in the bookstore in Manhattan Beach, Borders. No, not Borders. Borders is gone. Barnes and Noble. And why did they have the best gifts? They're like super cheap. Did it? I mean, like, we gotta talk about this. Like, Barnes and Nobles has some super freaking cool gifts for cheap. I got a $10 chapstick maker out of natural, like beeswax coconut. I mean, come on now. That's cute and affordable. And then this was only $30. And yeah, I'm just grateful for those affordable sales and things of cool stuff. Um, but yes, for people that are interested, in therapeutic healing or healing coaching, and not interested in the traditional sense of therapy, I think the holistic area is perfect remedy. Or for people who haven't been getting anywhere, like if they've just been doing traditional therapy, for their whole life and they still are depressed, then something needs to change. Something needs to change. The method needs to change, because um I'm not as depressed. I'm not like how I was before I started therapy. Before I started therapy, I was just like all day long crying about what happened to my family member. And now after therapy, I don't cry all day long anymore. I cry, a little bit, but not like before. So there's been progression. I would say that traditional therapy is like people freaking going to talk to this person all the time, and I don't see anything coming out of it. They're just on medication, and therapist bills getting paid. you know I'm just like, my experience, I haven't seen that working for people in my journey. um So I wasn't interested in that. So I'm grateful, that I was already on the holistic wellness path. So it made sense for me to find a holistic therapist. And I'm grateful because the tools, that she reminded me of that I can apply in this situation, and then with the scientific backend on why it even works, perfecto. you know so that's what I want to talk about in this video, and I don't want to draw it on any longer. I just want to say, for anybody out in this world who feels like they might need extra support to help them get through something, it's okay. And it's okay to find a holistic or spiritual therapist to help with that. And the reason why I say holistic or spiritual is because you want somebody that's going to share the tools with you to help you transcend the situation. Not just, I don't know what they be doing in the traditional therapy, but like I said, from watching my mom and my aunt, I don't. And there's nothing wrong with my mom and my aunt. You know, they're beautiful. They went through trauma as children, and so they're trying to heal that trauma with traditional therapy, and I didn't see it working for them. I just see them doing the medication. That's it. Different depression medication. Holistic therapy is not about a new depression medication, because these people are not connected to pharmaceutical companies and they're not paid to subscribe medication. They got into this industry because they actually want to help people with their healing. So that is a completely different area of expertise. Wanting to diagnose and medicate somebody is completely different from wanting to help heal somebody. Just want to throw that out there because a lot of people don't understand that. And you know, being someone's science experiment versus being somebody's client, two different things. Two different things. You know? Because that's a science experiment. Oh, we got this new depression drug for you to try out. It got these, here's the list of side effects and stuff. No, I don't agree. Not interested. Mm-mm. But I'm not in charge of that family member. So I can't tell her what to do, you know. But I know that I'm not interested in that, you know. And I don't see the benefit of it, you know. I mean, mm-mm, 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 no, mm-mm. Like literally, like I've just been watching this other loved one be a science experiment. Not the one I'm caring for, but another one. Being a science experiment for the pharmaceutical industry. We got this new depression medicine. They all make her sleepy. That's all of the damn medicines ever do is make her fucking sleepy. And if you talk to anybody that's been on medication, psychiatric medication, they all say the same thing, because I've talked to multiple people now that because of their sexual abuse and molestation, they got on that. And they all say the same thing. It just made them feel numb. It made them sleepy. It didn't solve nothing. They still got to work through the trauma. They still got to talk to somebody. They still got to heal. And that's the sad part about that industry, because it's like, you know, drowning somebody in some water and then taking them up for fresh air. Drowning somebody in some water and then taking them up for fresh air. I know that seems dramatic, but people being on medication, that's a sedation. That's like them being drowning in the water, you know. But they're also you know, it's a space, and then once that medication runs off, then they're up for fresh air again, and they got to deal with themselves and the situation. And wait a minute, then they got to take another pill. It don't make no sense to me. It don't. It don't. Well, Quisha, you're not a doctor. No, I don't conduct science experiments on people. No. Mm-mm. I don't. I'm okay with that. I don't want that karma. They gonna go to the judgment day and be like, so these pharmaceutical companies paid you to take these amount of lives or whatever. That's between them and they maker, but no. So, anyways, 25 minutes, 52 seconds. Did I cover everything I wanted to say? Yes, I see the benefits of holistic therapy. It has to do with so many different factors of changing the mindset, taking control of the destiny, being empowered, and moving forward. It's important. And from what I've seen with that other therapy, it just seems like the people are just stuck in that trauma, and I don't even know what they be trying to do. I don't, maybe they have components in there that are holistic. Maybe the problem is just the medicine. I'm not sure, but it's flawed over there on that side as far as I'm concerned. Because I've witnessed, two adults in my family, my mom and my aunt, be going to therapy for about 20 years now and taking their medications for about 20 years. And I don't see anything healed. I don't see them healed. And then so people would say stupid things like, well, maybe they don't maybe people they don't heal from those kind of things. That's some bullshit. That's some old Western society bullshit, because guess what? Since the beginning of time, since all throughout all ages of existence, people have been healing and transcending evil ever since it started. Okay? So I don't want to hear that shit. People aren't supposed to live their whole life in misery or suffering. I don't believe in that. No. We are here to heal. We're here to transcend. We are not here to be somebody's science experiment for pharmaceutical medications for 20 fucking years. Hell motherfucking no. That's some bullshit. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. No. Nope. None of my naps agree with that. They're like, fuck that. Rebel. No. But seriously, for real. It don't make no sense. Supposed to be healing happening. And if there's no healing happening, then the method needs to change. No drugs. Herbs. A lot of the drugs have natural elements in there, but then they're mixed with chemicals and other things, and that's what makes them no bueno as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I've been seeing them take it for 20, 30 years, and I don't see no improvement. I just see them getting other things that they got to deal with, because the human body, is so overwhelmed with having to cleanse out stuff from the water, the food, the air, and all of those drugs. All of those are drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. And remember, the body has to support itself. So if somebody is daily taking a medicine that has things that need to be cleansed out, and then they're taking food that has things that need to be cleansed out, and then they're taking in no supplements, nothing to heal and repair their body, I ain't no doctor. Okay. We don't need to be doctors. We need to be making sense, though. We need to make sense. We need to use our brains to make sense, because we got good brains that work. Because you do got a good brain that work. So we got to make sense of that. And making sense of it is saying, my body needs support. Let me support it. You ain't going to try to drive your car without no gas, because it ain't going to work. So why would people be doing that to their bodies, like, and expecting their body to just be like a well functioning machine, and they're not putting anything in it to help it. Just keep putting in their things in there to destroy it, and then it's being destroyed. Sorry, but I get frustrated with this family member. I really, really, really do. I know my health journey folks out there in those spiritual streets. I know they can relate. Those on the health journey, they can relate. They can relate. But those that are not on the health journey, y'all don't even know the stress that y'all be putting on your family members that are on the health journey, because they just trying to help you out. They just trying to help you live. They just want you to not have no pain. They just want you to enjoy your life as God intended. So that's the end of that, because I done went off on another tangent, but it's related, you know. And I think whatever therapy coaching program that somebody selects for themselves, they need to see progress. No progress, no bueno. Wasting time, you know. Medication, whatever kind of medication it is, it should have an effect to where you don't need to take it no more. You know, I got rid of my allergies with herbs and supplements. And that's an achievement, because as a child, I had really bad allergies. Like, the kind of allergies where the season change, I was fucked up. Somebody got some perfume in a fan, I was fucked up. I got rid of that. So these plants and minerals are real. They're a blessing, but people have to love themselves enough to want that for themselves, to want to be healthy. They have to love themselves to want to be healthy. Or they could just be the science experiment for something that is not built for their healing. The medical system, and this is not just like, I swear, people be getting on my nerves, because you got those family members that are just they only want to believe what they see on the news, and then everything else that people are actually talking about out there that's not the news, it's a conspiracy. It only works for a set amount of people, and they just come up with all this bullshit. As to support their mindset. I'm getting cold again. I'm going through changes over here. They just come up with all this bullshit to support what they talking about. Telling you, my scarf got holy. Telling you, it's like people, man, they don't even understand the stress that they be putting their family members under. So we got subconscious people, or people that are on the wealth, health, and wellness journey. We have to let our family members live out whatever choices they make for themselves, and not feel so saddened and just, oh my God, you won't let me help you. Them emotions be real. We don't have to be doctors, but we can make sense of stuff. And making sense of stuff is doing things to get permanent results. And not, and okay, and recognizing the truth that the mind is whatever you put in it, and people can totally create and transform their situations with their mind. But then you have a whole group of people that only believe the news, or people that don't believe that their mind can achieve anything. What do they think Albert Einstein was doing? Using his mind to achieve anything. What do they think, all of the people who have had world altering inventions were doing? They were using their mind to create a new reality. So when people say things that like they're not a part of this woke movement, like it's some new age stuff. This is ancient shit. This shit been going on. How do you think that Albert Einstein, he was woke? He woke up to what source was channeling through him and all of the other people. So this is not just like some new age, stuff. This is old science. Old metaphysical science. And to say it in kindergarten language, it is the basic dynamics of how our bodies and brains operate. And they been knowing that. People been knowing that. This is not some woke movement that just came out of the osmosis out of anywhere. This has been going on. So for somebody to say that they're not a part of the woke movement and people can't achieve anything that they want, that's a sad story to subscribe to. And that's what people want to tell themselves. But it's fact. It is proven. All of the Albert Einsteins and whoever else out in the world, anybody that they can think of who to use their mind to create. Don't even make no sense. That's why I said we don't have to be, given a certification by any board or education system to use our brain and to make sense of stuff. We just have to be willing to love ourselves enough to seek the information that we need from God and from inside of ourselves, and anybody that is channeling God to us. God is in God is in everybody. So that's what I want to say in this video. I'm gonna take myself to work now, but I just think it's important for people to do what works, what creates results. I've seen results with holistic therapy, and I think it's extremely beneficial. I've seen people doing traditional therapy for over 20 years with no change. And even if there is a little changes, that's not good enough. It needs to be like, bam, you loving your life. You created your new reality. Now, people have been able to achieve that with traditional therapy. Bravo. More power to you. But I'm talking about people that have not. And then that means they need to do something that's more spiritual, more holistic, more transcendent. And that's what I want to say in this video, y'all. I'm wishing everybody lots of love, lots of peace, and lots of healing and transcendent where it is healing and transcending where it is needed. Thank you for watching. And if you have made it to this far in this video, you are a straight up G. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. It's important to share this message, not just because it will help my channel grow, but I do have goals. Like I want to see, I want to help people. I want to do my part in assisting humanity. And I think that, we do that by sharing, our experiences and what we have gathered from those experiences. Of course, everybody's experiences, are exclusive to them, but there are things that we can learn from people, like from seeing those two family members that have just been doing the medication and the traditional therapy for 20 years. I learned from that. So when this situation came up with me and my other family member, I already knew we wasn't gonna go that route. So I think that we can learn from people and share. So, circulating this message, sharing it on your social media will help others in this world who are dealing with, those type of things. And I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for sharing. And leave a message in the comment description. Let me know how you're doing and what you think about this video. And yeah, I'm excited to go to my $4 store and see what they got. I need some socks, some warm socks, and I need some sweaters and some scarves. Get a couple of those, we'd be good to go. And if you want to know about that place, then let me know, and I will tell you. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for your time.